He's talking about the Ukraine war, and this I will probably find fascinating. I have no doubt his take on it will be magical. So we'll dip into this 1 second. We'll do a needle drop as soon as this fucking ad is over. Jesus Christ. And then we will see.
It's like exposome.
Exposome, which encompasses an individual's... Oh, okay, he's going to tell us what it is.
Like a biome.
Oh, God. All right. Is there...
No, you didn't watch it. Nobody else watched it but me?
I watched it.
Oh. I thought the fight before was actually... It was more exciting.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, let's... I want to hear what his fucking take is on this stuff. Because, remember... they're this is the asshole who was telling us, we don't even need to take a big chunk of this. I just got to jump in and see what he's saying right now live about this stuff, because remember, the last time we covered Jimmy, talking about Ukraine, he said they were a failed state, and I quote, it was a failed state.
Rejoicing too hard. So here, this is like a GIF, and it's going to show you how...
It's a GIF. Yes, it's just a GIF. Don't take it seriously. Hold on.
On September 7th is when they started this offensive. And so here's how it started. On September 7th and 8th, they started here, and then it kept going. And then on the September 9th, you see how it spread? September 10th, it spread. And then September 11th...
How's this it's going to be bad news? It's going to be bad news.
Which was yesterday. This is the Ukraine forces taking back over the areas that Russia had captured.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know.
And then that was it. So
yeah. So break it down for us, big guy. I got to hear, because remember, failed state. Why would we arm these people? They're Nazis anyways, and they don't deserve to win, and they're going to lose anyways. Same as Marjorie Taylor Greene, that we're just prolonging the inevitable by arming them. Let's hear it.
And could you imagine how much better Ukraine would be doing, Kurt, if 70% of the weapons we sent hadn't vanished in this thin air?
See, there we go. This is the whole, that's the Fox News, John Solomon, Trump world talking point. They haven't. They have 70% of the weapons we've given them have not vanished. Like, that's just a garbage talking point. No basis in reality. This is a Tucker Carlson thing. Yeah, and there's the bullshit. And again, I would argue exactly. Let's take it at face value. So the Ukrainians are fucking Russia up with 30% of the weapons we've sent.
Look how great they did with only 30% of the stuff we sent them. Isn't that
Imagine.
Great? So here's,
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying this was a big waste of lives and money, huh, Jackson? I mean, look at that. Look. They advanced a whole sliver of territory. Isn't that fantastic?
What is the pink?
A sliver of territory? What do you mean, what is the pink? That's before it's verified and after. Like, these guys just don't give a fuck.
So the pink is where they're taking over. That's where Ukraine's taking back over.
Oh, I see.
Kurt thinks that when the GIF resets, Russia gets the land back.
And it only costs about $100 billion. and most of Europe will freeze this winter. What a bargain.
Oh, by the way, that's the other Russian talking point, is that they're going to count on Russia, like Russia is counting on Europe freezing, that winter will be their biggest weapon. That is a direct talking point.
But we had to do
What a bargain.
We had to do it to protect Europe.
We had to do it to protect Europe. So here's how ABC News is reporting this. Oh, I don't have my thing in.
No, it's not surprising.
That's what she said. Okay, here we go.
Be a major turning point in the Ukraine war.
A major turning point in the Ukraine war.
Ukrainian forces retook significant territory from retreating Russian forces in Ukraine's east this weekend, and Russia now retaliating with new
Jimmy's getting his Herbert Lom twitch again in his left eye. Watch for it. He's not liking this news.
attacks on critical
Look.
infrastructure and power grids.
I'm cracking up. I haven't had anything but a chicken leg and some clear broth since Wednesday.
Tom Sufi-Burge is on the scene in Ukraine. Good morning, Tom.
Yeah, good morning, George. That lightning advance by Ukrainian forces in the northeast has continued. Overnight troops also now pushing right up to the border with Russia. And this morning, a stunning admission from Moscow that it has lost almost the...
Look at Jimmy just checking his notes. What was that about a sad trombone earlier? There was something about a sad trombone they were mentioning. If I could only think of at what point is there a all right.
the entire Kharkiv region in a matter of days. This morning, Ukrainian forces marking massive victories in the
Like he's just checked out.
northeast.
Not stopping and starting.
Their troops now controlling the strategic military hub of Izium, which was occupied by
Which neither Jimmy nor Kurt can intellectually comprehend.
Russian forces for months. Now, videos circulating online show abandoned Russian tanks and military equipment littering the area. Ukrainian soldiers raising their flag once again over the city. It's a massive blow for Putin. And across a large swathe of territory, troops liberating dozens of towns and...
And again, good point, like moment to point out that Jimmy's making the case that Kiev had already fallen a month ago. It was already done. It was just a matter of they were just pretending.
villages in video released by the Ukrainian military.
I think it's interesting that he says huge swathes instead of swaths. I just wanted to point that out. Okay.
And
It's English.
Emotional
he said
scenes.
they just blew Putin. That's a weird way to
That's
put
a
it.
weird way to put it.
Civilians greeting and embracing Ukrainian troops.
Oh, look, they're
In
making
this
out.
map here, you can see the amount of ground Ukrainian forces have retaken in blue near the city of Kharkiv. Officials say they have reclaimed more than 1,000 square miles. President Zelensky praising his soldiers, saying, "Everyone sees and notes your actions in the north, south and east of Ukraine. The world is impressed. The enemy is panicking. Ukraine is proud."
And Jimmy Dore is mad you're not dead.
The Russian military retaliating, with Russian missiles striking power stations.
Look at that. Huh? They're retaliating. So they're still in this. We could still win at the buzzer. We've got 2 timeouts left.
And other civilian infrastructure throughout Ukraine.
Yeah. Like monsters do.
Backing Ukraine's military and key to its success, a vast army of volunteers, here making them clothing and kit. Mechanics turning civilian cars into military vehicles. And these volunteers making plastic artillery pieces. From a distance, they're realistic replicas, decoys to dupe the Russians.
By the way, that's one of the things that they built is these fake HIMARS vehicles. They take Russian vehicles and they make them look like HIMARS launchers. They park the HIMARS launcher next to it. They fire missiles and then they drive the HIMARS vehicle away, and the thing still sitting there looks from a UAV like it's the actual HIMARS thing, and then they blow it up. It's happened multiple times. It's hysterical. The Russians were claiming that they had destroyed several HIMARS that continued to fire on them for days.
Secret's out now.
Where did that
This
money
morning,
go?
What do you mean?
Ukrainians claim they are
Wait, why
also...
are they MacGyvering weapons? We sent them all that money.
They're not MacGyvering weapons, dumb fuck. Those are decoys. Did you not hear the... All right.
Right?
making...
Right? I mean, where'd the money go? I mean, if they were winning, at least, Jesus Christ. They think this is... First of all, they think that part's funny, but they also think that they're excited at the idea that Russia might retaliate.
progress in the south and on the offensive in the eastern Donbass. The Ukrainians are on a roll, and there is no doubt that US weaponry and intel have made this possible.
So let me bring in Jackson. He said the eastern Donbass, they were even rolling into there. So tell me what's really happening here.
Yeah, it's all a lie. Tell me that Russia's really winning. You're the Putin whisperer. He's bringing somebody in to make everybody feel better. This is his vice chairman in charge of feels.
So let me put this up.
So the situation on the ground.
Yeah. Where are you on the ground? Is your dude on the ground? Is he there? Like Philip was there for us?
Is obviously not how those on MSNBC or CNN or Good Morning America are painting it. What really happened is there are 4 staging operations of offensives that Ukraine is
Dude, that's a regular clicky blink you got on there, buddy.
currently launching.
What happened is obviously there's a lot of is he Morse coding with his eyes that he like I am full of shit tick 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 tick.
There's one in the Kherson region that failed miserably, and Ukraine, sadly, because I don't think we want to see anyone die, lost thousands of troops in that. There is also an operation underway.
By the way, you're assuming that Jimmy doesn't want to see a lot of people die. I citation needed. Also, excellent production quality here for a show that makes millions of dollars more than I do on my show. Just saying. I mean, I haven't been doing this as long, so cut me some slack.
In the Liman region.
It's good. In the Lamaze region, sure.
Which is south of Kharkiv, and that is failing as well. And there is another operation that's about to be underway that would be targeting Mariupol eventually. The only one
which is going to fail because you want it to?
That has succeeded thus far is the Kharkiv offensive, which is
the only one, the giant one that just reclaimed 3,000 kilometers of land.
Is what we're discussing right now.
Mm-hmm. The one that's actually happening.
And basically, what we saw in Kharkiv was over the past several months, the Russians had little to no reinforcements and Russian military personnel in the region. They had tried for quite some time to move out of this region and closer to Slavyansk, which would have given them a more beneficial positioning
and they were unable to. Now do Izium.
The region. But
by the way, again, this is the idea, like that whole like railway area where the Russians were bringing in all of their arms and supplies for their soldiers. That little junction point for all of it wasn't important.
They kept getting bogged down. So the Russians had pulled just about all of their personnel out of the region. There was just National Guardsmen, policemen, and a frontline picket of, Lugansk Lugansk People's Republic.
Lugansk? You mean the Luhansk? It's an H, not a G. Does that matter?
Fighters.
Right. I mean, it's his, you know what? He's their expert.
But overall, the Russians had pulled out pretty much all their troops. And
yeah, because they were baited into thinking the attack was coming in Kherson, dummy. When
we saw the Ukrainians opt to stop their Kherson offensive at the direction of the commander's illusion.
Saha says, we used plywood silhouettes and lit a fire behind them to draw thermal signatures, decoy 101. Yeah, I mean, the Allies used inflatable tanks to trick the Germans into thinking that D-Day was happening on another front. This is Charlie Kirk with an actual bat.
In Ukraine and send all of their personnel to Kharkiv. Russia decided to withdraw all their personnel from the Kharkiv region. And
yeah, this is, by the way, the talking point from Russia. Hold on one second. Let me just show you. Like, it's one thing for these assholes to kind of like draw their own conclusion about this. But hold on. Let's see. Let's see if I can find the dude defending it. Because the other big story that they're saying on there is, let's do the Russian MOD. Let's see if he puts this gray zone. Do you pose a map in the Russian MOD? This, Gray Zone Russian TG channel posted this map made by the Russian MOD. That's about 8,400 kilometers they are not going to control anymore. They're going to retreat to the Oskol River. That's their... Okay, here it is. This guy. So this is the dude saying, we are not retreating. We are advancing in another direction. We decided to regroup and move our forces where they will do more good. That shit. Yeah. That's his, let's see, Russian MOD Igor Konashenkov claims Russia has withdrawn its forces from Snake Island. Okay, this is a different one. Hold on. Let's see if I can find the, I'll grab his name real quick. Copy. Paste. It's good. Igor, sorry. I left the I off. Yeah, Russia has withdrawn its forces from Snake Island. Where you go? Regroup for... There it is. This is the one. This is the guy. Here's his full statement. Check this against what Fuckstick here is saying. Hold on. That's the one where they're sending chicks with AIDS. That's their other argument. So here we go. Here you go. A special military operation to liberate Donbass. The decision has been made to regroup Russian troops located in the Balaklia and Izium areas in order to boost efforts in the Donetsk area. With that aim, over the last 3 days, an operation has been carried out to draw down and redeploy Izium Balaklia force to the Donetsk People's Republic. As part of the operation, a number of distraction and demonstration measures were carried out. Yeah, we were leaving some, and the designation of troops really. In order to prevent damage to Russian forces, the enemy was hit with powerful fire using aviation, missile forces, and artillery. In 3 days, over 2,000 Ukrainian foreign militants have been eliminated, as well as 100 pieces of armored equipment and artillery. This dude is the fucking Baghdad Bob of Balaklia. He's a Balaklia Bob at this point. But that's the case this prick is making.
Izium, which is directly to the south of Kharkiv. Now,
and totally useless, except as a logistical hub.
Video, they said that Izium is a strategic military hub of the Russians. That's not true.
Why? They didn't even want it. They just killed a bunch of civilians and murdered a bunch of people just to have it. They don't even need it. I mean, you've seen one logistical hub, you've seen them all.
It was not a strategic military hub. This was a region that they were keeping the lights on, essentially, in. But it's not.
Yeah, it's not important. I'm totally convinced, dude. You're selling me. Keep at it.
Strategically, very important for the Russians. So they decided to pull out, and the Russians were able to get all of their military equipment out, all of their.
No. Not even fucking close. They were not able to get all of their military equipment out. That's just dumb.
Artillery and tanks out, though there's fake videos online circulating that tried to dispel that fact that
you almost slipped the truth out.
They were able to get all their stuff out. And that begs the question, if they were able to get all of their artillery, tanks, and personnel out of the region,
why? If they were winning, why would they have to bug every fucking thing they have out of a region in a country they're planning on taking over? Why? Were they just given the land as a gift to the Nazis?
Without any haste or, quick withdrawal efforts that left some things behind.
Oh, so the idea is that, Jesus Christ. So this guy's case is that the Ukrainians charged into an area that the Russians had left weeks ago, and the only reason they are firing on power plants and on the soldiers as they come in is just to distract them and kill some people just for the fuck of it.
Then we have to assume that this was somewhat of a pre-planned operation. Obviously, sending 20,000 troops there caused the Russians to act, quickly and decisively, but there was negotiations going on inside the Russian military that sources are now claiming were planning a withdrawal from this region.
And I'm sorry, who's feeding you this bullshit? Look, even when we're talking to Philip, he would, meet with some people who might know some things or whatever. he was very careful to not assume that what he was being told was the truth, or that it, or that it might even be something he should talk about. He was like, well, these are my feelings about it and that kind of stuff. But where this dude's like, yeah, there's some, my Russian sources.
Regardless of whether or not Ukraine launched an offensive there. So obviously this is not good for Russia. They
So you're having a sad
lost territory. They lost 2,000 square kilometers, but it makes up about 1/40th of all of the territory that Russia has gained throughout the war in Ukraine. Not to mention the Ukrainians lost thousands of troops. They lost multiple brigades, which isn't the biggest problem for them because they kind of have an endless supply of men that they can send to the front lines, but
no, they don't. And the other thing is like, I thought you were against war in general. I thought this was supposed to be an anti-war argument, that any deaths are terrible.
They're losing their top fighting forces. The real problem here for Ukraine is, though this is a victory, it is a victory. They gained territory. That's objectively a victory. It's a strategic blunder now because of the fact that Russia pulled out of the entire Kharkiv region. Ukraine's men are spread extremely thin, meaning that these airstrikes that Russia is now launching in the region are doing quite a bit of damage. Russia hasn't sent in infantry in the region.
They don't have any.
And also, Russia has decided to respond now by what they discussed in there. We can discuss that more later. But the massive escalation of beginning to target civilian energy infrastructure.
Which is, what you do when you're trying to stop Nazis.
They knocked out about 50 to 60% of their civilian energy infrastructure.
So
that's good. So if they're able to freeze Europe and starve out a bunch of Ukrainians, that's good, right?
Russia,
watch this fucker try to make this good.
they didn't know this was coming, or they don't care that this was coming, or
both, or neither, or whichever one sounds better.
Why was this allowed to happen?
Why was this allowed to happen, motherfucker? It's their country. It's Ukrainians' country, you fuck.
So they knew it was coming, but they made a decision that it was not worth sending more personnel to the fight and potentially losing thousands of men in the fight to protect this region. And obviously so
they just left the people that were there as cannon fodder for the fuck of it, as a distraction. They just snuffed out a bunch of their own soldiers just to pretend they were holding an area, is the argument. Motherfucker.
That should be very frustrating to anyone who's watched this war, because we all know what has happened when Ukrainians retake territory that was withdrawn by the Russians, and there are reprisals that are going to take place.
They start killing people.
I beg your pardon? So when the Ukrainians take their own territory back, quote, they start killing people. Good fucking Lord. No, he means civilians. He means they roll in and murder civilians just for the shit of it. Honest to God. This is the state of the argument. Again, this is not anti-war. This is the Ukrainians deserve it. The Ukrainians are Nazis and murderers, and if the Chechens and the Wagner group roll through and have rape squads and sever children's genitals and burn corpses and rig other corpses with bombs or whatever, it's because they have to, because it's important, because they're Nazis and they deserve it.
Does this also set up a thing? I mean, you're talking about strategically, like...
Oh boy. Here comes Kurt to save the day. Some deep thoughts about strategery.
Isn't it like part of the strategy is to advertise back here? Look at, we just had a big success, so it's worth it to keep pouring money in?
This is that. I think that's what this is.
Yeah, they only win just so they can get more money. They wouldn't bother to win if they could get money for losing. Okay.
Like, that's their strategy. I mean, is that a bad strategy from their end to be like, even if it's a whatever kind of victory. But like, see, because the guy he actually almost credited the American weapons with retaking it.
Right.
No, he did.
You know?
Well, the New York Times did explicitly. They said that the intelligence sharing that took place at an increased volume, right?
Yeah, but you obviously know that's not true, because what intelligence? If the American intelligence had been worth anything, we would have been able to tell them there's just nobody in there. There's nobody. They're not even going to defend it. They don't need that territory. So taking it's not worthwhile. This is fucking gross.
Or the Kharkov offensive was what led to the success in the region.
They should do a Vogue spread of missiles.
They should. All right, so
Jesus Christ. Like, he is so trying to polish this turd for Vladimir Putin.
Overall, it doesn't impact the outcome of the war.
No. Just keep your hopes up. There's still a chance that Russia will wipe out the Ukrainian identity from the face of the earth and control all of that before moving on to Moldova and Poland and nuking Berlin. There's still hope, Jimmy. There's still hope.
That's the final
so
point.
they retook a sliver of thing, and the American press is kind of blowing it up, and so
a sliver.
I mean, you should hear that they were talking about on the Sunday shows, and this is they said turning point. Is this a turning point in the war, Jackson?
No, it is not.
I heard them.
Honest to God, I don't know why that it's a good sign to enjoy that, even if it weren't. It's so fucked up.
Now then I saw
I mean, it is, but yeah.
Smarter, like your Peter Zahines or whatever, who are like
Zihan.
Like, yeah, this is really great, but I'd hold off just in like the smarter people I could see were like, don't jump to conclusions yet, even though this is great if you're rooting for this like it's a soccer game.
Or because lives matter.
Yeah, and I don't think we should necessarily jump to conclusions either. Anything could happen in war. War is full of surprises.
Yeah, but don't get bummed out. Russia still has a chance to kill everyone.
And there are other offensives that are being planned. I think Russia's probably prepared, but anything could happen.
You think Russia's probably prepared, but anything can happen? Who does this motherfucker sound like? Who does he remind me of? It's so strange. Let's see. There you go. I'm going to try to find yeah, here you go. This dude's getting plenty of play. Hold on one second. Yeah, here you go.
По нашим воинам, которые сейчас действительно занимаются очень важным делом.
Here you go. Are indeed doing very important work. They are resisting an enormous horde that has been trained in the West. There is no other way to describe that. As you understand, it was a troubling night. I don't know. Maybe they need to watch Jimmy Dore. They'll feel better. Just like all of you, I'm waiting for reports. It's understood that everything is difficult, but it can't be easy. This is a special operation. It's very special. People are dying. We understand how it is. Totally. This is a serious, difficult situation. Not according to Jimmy's dude. This is nothing. It's all just a fake out. Ukraine's armed forces, as a result of difficult battles, there's information that Russian units have indeed left Balaklia. Fighters of the National Guard left the area. They have left the city in an organized manner via the corridor on the outskirts of the east. Yeah, for this, it's advancement in the direction of what? Hold on. Fighters of the National Guard left in organized manner via the corridor on the outskirts in the east for its advancement in the direction of Kharkiv. Ukraine's armed forces used the units that have been trained in Britain. The news is troubling. The information is inconsistent. Ukrainians are celebrating their victory. Zelensky's social media account posted what? The footage of the Ukrainian flag in Balaklia. What's going on with Balaklia? What do you know? Yeah, she seems like she's having a great day. Good day, Olga. Which is a great show. Honestly, I had no idea. Oh, that didn't sound good. that Balaklia was the capital of Russia. Oh, I see. He's making, or that Kupiansk was turned into Russia's capital. So like they're celebrating this like it's a big fucking deal. It's not a big fucking deal. And this is the fight that broke out on this show. Let's see if we can play this guy right here. This is people are convinced President Putin that the special operation would be fast and effective. We won't strike the civilian population. We'll come in, and our National Guard, along with Kadyrovs, will bring these people, and they will really set all of us up. These people really set all of us up. Are you sure those people exist? Of course, the president just sit there and think, why don't I start a special operation? Someone told him that Ukrainians will surrender, that they will flee, that they will want to join Russia. Someone had to be telling him all this because they also said the same on TV. We're now at the same point where we have to understand it's absolutely impossible to defeat Ukraine. Using those resources and colonial war methods, this guy gets pissed when he says colonial, by the way, with which Russia is trying to wage war using contract soldiers, mercenaries, no mobilization, meaning no declaration of war. A strong army is opposing the Russian army. Fully supported by the most powerful countries in the economic and technological sense. Like this dude like steps in it. And then like these guys, we looked at these guys earlier, but they're all pissed. This guy tries to tell the truth too. They get mad at him. This guy's like, fuck you. How dare you even say the colonial word, the C word on TV? These are the same talking points this asshole is giving.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we hope that the Chechen rape squads and, forced genital mutilation of Ukrainian children continues, but hope springs eternal. Right, Jimmy?
So, anything we should add to this story or?
Nah, just, what could be better? I mean, it's the kind of victory that Russia's been hoping for.
That's it. So this big offensive, and you're hearing about it in the establishment press,
is just nonsense, and don't worry about it, and don't let the fact that Jimmy's eye is starting to twitch and that his lazy eye is starting to drift be a sign that he's not telling you how he really feels about something, and he's emotionally upset about it.
And they're making it look like Russia's on the run.
Mm-hmm. No, Russians are on the run. I think Russia's filleting itself right now, trying to make itself feel better.
And Russia's is not going to lose this war.
Don't get upset. Who the fuck do you have to be to like soothe the feelings of people who are worried that the Russians will lose a colonial attack on a neighboring country? What? Listen to the tone of his fucking voice. What is that about?
Establishment press, and they're making it look like Russia's on the run. And Russia's is not going to lose this war. They're not on the run, and now they're taking out their civilian energy structure.
Which is great. I mean, normally that's the kind of thing true progressives root for. They're not on the run. They're going to win. And the good thing is that while they are having to pull back, they are firing on civilian infrastructure. What the fuck? This is like a sketch version of what I would do of his show. This is like ad absurdum.
I don't know why they didn't do this before, but they're
I don't know why they didn't try to kill the civilian infrastructure before, because they were seizing the country. They thought it would be theirs, dumb fuck.
Doing it now. Why do you think they waited to start hitting their energy grid?
Because they were stealing the country, dummy.
Yeah, that's actually probably the biggest development of all. That's getting no recognition because the Russians, like you said, aren't on the run. They created very strong borders along the Oskol River and the Seversky Donetsk River and the Russian border around Kharkiv.
Yes, they have a very strong border of their own country. They should, you know what? For their own safety, they should just pull back to that border.
So they've contained that. But
they've contained that. They've contained the part where they've been pushed back to.
big issue now is the fact that Russia has not only knocked out about 50% of the Ukrainian electrical grid.
Yeah, you know, house lighting and heat, hospitals. Yeah, the kind of thing you hope for as a progressive. You know, not hitting ammo dumps or military sites, blowing up the energy grid so that the fucking civilians suffer. Listen, it's shameless. It's fucking bizarre. This is obviously the result of him pushing the Nazi narrative early on, so he can't back out of it now because his ego won't let him, and his newly found Russian and right-wing audience will get pissed.
They also turned off the last reactor on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which...
What? Look at him like, The Ukrainians did, because they're worried the Russians are going to bomb the fucking place and create another Chernobyl.
Provided Ukraine with about 60% of their electricity. Going into winter, that's going to be crisis-level scenario for them. And Europe was actually relying on Ukraine, of all countries, to provide them with electricity because Ukraine was going to have an energy surplus this winter.
No, they weren't. And no, they're not.
So now Ukraine is trying to retake over the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant.
They're trying to declare it a demilitarized zone so nobody attacks it, dummy, because it's a fucking nuclear facility.
And because Russia's now meddling in the civilian energy infrastructure, something they hadn't done until now,
because they're sweet like that.
Kind of did it the opposite way that the United States engages in war. There is talk from Russian military sources.
Oh, yeah? Just what Russian military sources would those be? You mean you just check in on their Telegram channels, or are they making direct fucking phone calls to you?
That what they just did in targeting the civilian infrastructure is supposed to be a display for further negotiations in the Ministry of Defense in Russia, meaning that it's possible that they change the official title of the special military operation, because this title and the legal parameters of it prevent Russia from targeting civilian infrastructure over and over again. So
yeah, only a couple of times. It's a special legal designation. They can only do it 3 times. If they miss 3 times, they're allowed to try a 4th time. If they hit the 4th time, obviously you can't take it out with 1 strike. So that allows them to restart and start shooting again. And so they get 3 more tries to hit more of it. Fuck this.
So what they're saying is Russia might take this SMO to another level and normalize the targeting of the civilian energy infrastructure.
Which is reason for Jimmy to get the first boner he's had in years. How the fuck do you say this and go, oh, that's cool? Where's Kurt in this fucking bullshit? Where's the miserable liberal? Are any of these people like, oh, good. I hope they hit the Ukrainian people right in their energy sources so that they can freeze to death. I hope that somebody tries to charge a defibrillator and it won't work, so somebody has a heart attack, they just fucking die.
And this first targeting that we saw, and we actually saw double taps on the energy infrastructure just a few hours ago, after some of it had been
double taps. Great. It's very. Some of you may not understand this anti-war language.
And repaired is going to serve as an indicator for the Russian military as to whether or not they are
allowed to attack civilians. What the fuck are you talking about? They've been attacking civilians the entire goddamn time.
Enough ramifications of this to merit the continuation of it, because this is the only thing Ukraine's really got going for them other than Western.
What? A culture? A civilian life? What are you talking about? The country wasn't a military fucking island.
Supply. is that they still have their energy and they still have a lot of their supply routes.
And they still have a bunch of fucking men, women, and children and old people running around. I mean, like it's time that, Russia's really step up and start eliminating them as think of it as human resources.
When you shut off the energy, not only does that impact all of their communications and civilian life, but also
they have diesel generators, dumb fuck, for the military.
So it shuts down all their electric trains.
Their electric trains. And look how excited Jimmy is to hear that their electric trains won't work. So Christmas, I guess they'll have to use the wind-up toys? The fuck are you talking about? Electric trains? Oh. What do you mean, oh? What is he owing about?
Oh, look
at that. Oh.
Look at that. Electric trains. I didn't know they had electric trains. Look at that.
They don't. That's why he's not going, yep, they do.
All right, well, ignore what you're going to hear in the establishment press about how Russia's on the run.
Yeah, just ignore it. Don't pay any attention to it. It's true, but don't pay any attention to it. Get your truth from Jimmy Dore.
And how this is a turning point.
This sounds like a thing to go, okay.
It's a good look. This is actually better. Can this always be the framing? There doesn't have to be anybody in that window.
We'll keep pouring money in. And yeah, you're freezing, but we're so close.
We're so close. We're going to do it. We're going to turn this around. Okay, over to Steph.
All right, great. Hey, you know what? There's a question for Jackson. Can he come on? Can you put him on the side? Jackson, John wants to know, can you talk a little bit about the event that you're speaking at with Daniel Burke?
Yes, the Schiller Institute is putting on a great event in Manhattan on October 15th. And it's going to be Zelga Hep LaRouche is going to be there, of the LaRouche organization.
Oh, of course. What are the odds that he's a fucking LaRouchian? And that a LaRouche person in the chat asked him about it to promote it. Of course. Yes, as in Lyndon LaRouche. Yeah.
Haas of the Infrared Show, Daniel Burke, Samira Khan are all going to be there. And it's called Build the New Paradigm, Defeat Green Fascism. And it...
Defeat green fascism.
It's supposed to be a coming together of these LaRouche-minded people and, somewhat, tangential people like myself.
Yeah, LaRouche adjacent.
To talk about what's going on with this hyperbolic nature of the, green energy.
Oh, fucking hell. Really? Okay. What? Really? The hyperbolic nature of moving towards green energy. Holy shit.
Push right now, and how it's failing in Europe and what's to come in the United States.
What is going on? Why is it happening?
Why are we pushing towards green energy? What are we even doing? Why are they doing this? Well, please go into climate change is a fraud. Just go for that. Just jump in, man. Just do it.
Like, why'd they shut down you said Russia shut down their nuclear plant in Ukraine. Didn't Germany do that to themselves? And France is about to do that themselves, turn off their own nuclear energy plant?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
I mean, Russia did it to harm Ukraine.
Yeah, why would these because, how do you get clean energy then? Are they going to get... I mean, they're just not, I guess.
Oh, good Lord. Really? This is supposed to be... This is the left? This is supposed to be the left. This is so far left. It's right now. What is happening? Dobie, the Nazi elf.
The idea behind it is there's a push for degrowth and deindustrialization by all these, neoliberal elites across the world.
Yeah, that's just say neoliberal elite. So whatever they say, it's bad. So that automatically means.
And they're using green energy as a means to do that, as well as, hindering agricultural sectors all across the world. You see Bill.
Yeah, Dutch farmers and Bill Gates and
Gates doing that. They're doing that. The Dutch government's doing that. Canada's doing that.
Trying to get rid of petroleum-based fertilizers.
And the green energy is a part of it. That's what's happening in Europe right now.
Yeah, fucking green energy. Am I right?
Okay, that's going to happen October 15th in New York. Thank you so much. Jimmy, are you ready for the next story? All right, Jimmy.
So guess what? Zelensky to headline U.S. defense industry.
Okay, we saw he's talked about this in a couple times. The transfer, you don't want to do that, especially in time when the money spigot has been open and poured tens of millions. And we're back in here. And they lost. Okay, why is this group should be singled out for special protection? Is it clear the bills? Bloomberg, even so. Oh, and then we're into Fauci because he lied about whatever. This is their whole show. I just wanted to cover that part of it because I'm surprised. I have to say, isn't that Jimmy's wife or girlfriend or something? So, in case you were late to the program, Jimmy Dore's show is currently devoted to Lyndon LaRouche talking points, promoting Russian victory in its attack on Ukraine and pushing back against green energy. And it is those ethical considerations, those thematic choices, it is those baseline platform ideas where Jimmy believes that the progressive left should inform its behavior, and anybody who's not on board with that is fake left or something. That's amazing. Yeah, it's no wonder he hates progressives almost as much as he hates actual progress.